Okay, it's a Saturday morning, and usually a Saturday morning involves one or two things for me. Either right now I'd be right in the middle of a workout, or as I am right now, sat in front of my PC, practicing ahead of some race. And in 2014, sorry for all the groaning, but I'm tightening my wheel stand. But yeah, so in 2014 I'd be lapping in the V8 and preparing for an ARL TV V8 race. ARL not doing the V8 race at the moment. Well, to be fair, they and all of the other contributors to that league deserve a break, even if it's for a season, because I think they've been doing it non-stop back to back for the last 9 seasons in iRacing. So yep, most definitely in need of a break. So taking the opportunity this season I should say, not year, to join my new teammate, Victor Draveguard, in the Sim Race Ages GT3 series. Today the race is going to be at Zandvoort, a track that's rather tight, and if you'd have seen me online in the middle of the week, you'd have seen me say quite a few times that I really disliked the track. And to be fair, it's not so much that I dislike the track as I readily admit. It's more the case of the track is extremely challenging, and I haven't really ever got to grips with it. However, I really am starting to fall in love with the rough, as you say, the RT12R track, and around here it really seems hooked up, and because of it being such a I don't know, tactile car. And for me, what I mean by such a tactile car is some of the cars in iRacing and in many sims, you race them and they don't feel quite connected to the track, but the RAF really feels solid. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing for the next 30 minutes or so is trying to dial in my settings so that I get a decent stream for you, but that it doesn't compromise my system resources and result in an in-game stutter that is really difficult to drive around.
Gonna have a car off to the right.
So at the moment,
car off to the right.
as you can see, I think I'm dropping a few frames. So what I need to find out is whether that's the encoding rate, the bit rate, straining the processor, or if I need to change the graphic settings in iRacing. For instance, I'm going to first of all look at maybe capping the frame rates, which they were capped before. I just uncapped them to try and see if removing that limitation freed up the system. And for me it's all trial and error because I'm not very educated when it comes to PCs and all of the internal workings. So everything is always trial and error. Click this, click that. Go read a forum or some other post that gives me a bit of a hint as to where I should start digging around. Also, my system, when it was custom built, was overclocked, and that's something I haven't used. I turned off all the overclocking settings when I got it because I wasn't getting stability with regards to my graphics. I kept getting all sorts of issues, screen tears, and I wasn't sure what was doing it, so I thought if I went back to defaults and a clean installation almost, that maybe that would help me. So yeah, a number of things on the list. This 2015 has turned out to be a tweaking year for me. All the tweaking I've done with the overlay and OBS, which I wasn't using before. And what's really difficult when I'm trying to diagnose is by watching the stream live on my iPad, which also lets me see the lobby chat in Twitch. I try and get an understanding or an idea of what the quality of the stream is for everybody, but on my iPad and that of my teammate when he's looking, it always seems to be buffering, but then other viewers will say no, it's not buffering for me, whether they're watching in a browser or on a tablet or smartphone. So all I can do is this: run some laps, get to the end of the stint, upload the broadcast, watch it back and see what it looked like. That, and to be fair, actually had quite a bit of help from people during the week that were watching, and they gladly went and checked out the quality of the stream on various mediums, whether it was their PCs, laptops, smartphones, tablets, and that was really helpful. So thank you to them. What I need to do for myself is make sure in the notes of the highlighted broadcast I write down what settings I was using, bit rates, frames per second, so that, as with any science experiment that you did at school, you leave yourself with the methodology and equipment used so that you don't go down blind alleys chasing your tail because you can't remember what you changed. Okay, sorry, so I just seen something in the chat. Let me get to part of the track when I can have a look and read it. Whoa. You can't see that, but I just moved my mouse by mistake. And because you've got to run iRacing in window mode to get OBS to work, I moved the mouse and it hid all of my desktop windows, so I was just literally driving blind. So give me a second and I'll take a look and see what was in the chat. That's one of the other tweaks I need to do for 2015, find a better way of being able to read the chat, because unlike the more experienced streamers here on Twitch, I can't drive whilst looking across to my left or right reading text. No, not using triple monitors, just one HD TV, 37 inches I think it is. Would love to have triple monitors, but haven't got the space. So I'm keeping an eye on Oculus Rift and its developments to see what the consumer model will look like. Because at the moment, although it looks like a great opportunity for people that can't have triples, I'm not yet sure about the whole not being able to see anything else other than what's projected in front of your eyes, like keyboards or anything. Uh-oh. Yeah, normally I would change my cockpit view in any of the cars I drive to something like 52, 55 degrees or something. I'd be much closer based on the field of view calculator or tool in iRacing. But for some reason, when I jumped into the... No, I know exactly what I did. As I was having so many issues during the week with the tweaking, I rolled back my NVIDIA drivers to, I think it's version 3.32 or whatever the number is. It was the one that came out around February 2014. I had updated them because before I was using OBS, I was using NVIDIA's Shadow Play for streaming, and I really needed the updated drivers to get better quality. But since I'm using OBS, I didn't need that, so I rolled back the graphics drivers, ran the hardware configuration wizard in iRacing, changed the settings in the game to get rid of the arms, because I don't like the arms on the steering wheel. I didn't actually like the virtual steering wheel before, but I figured that looks better for people on the stream than just seeing a steering wheel not moving. But what I forgot to do was change the field of view back to where I would normally have it, and it was stuck on this 79 degrees, which I think is the default, and I just left it because it at least gives you the left mirror and the rear view mirror, and I think it actually looks better in the stream for people because it lets you see more of the world you can see in the mirrors yourself. So yeah, I like the way it looks as well. It just means that I had to recalibrate my timings for, well, not so much timings, but my perception for where the apex is. What I'd like is to be in a position where I could have one of those sim cockpits like others have and not need the in-game displays based on having my own dashboard, etc., and just only really have the view out of the window. Uh-oh. Saw that coming. Okay. So still getting a few in-game stutters. Don't know what it's like in the stream, but as I said, I'm not going to mess with any of the settings yet. I'm going to wait until I upload the stream in a while and review it myself. But yeah, see, that's where the field of view set normally, because of the whole distance I am from the TV, I would have had to shorten that down to about 50 something, 60, but I've just left it. Detail on cars, let's go to medium. Headlights detail, let's go to low. Let's see what else. Max system memory to use. Let's give it more system memory to use. See, the system's got 32 megabytes. Well, 32 gig. So there's loads of memory, it's never going to use it, and the video card's got 6 gig, so it's not using that either, but it still doesn't seem able to cope. So I'm trying to see what else we can turn down. Let's turn down, and this is, again, as I said, this is just trial and error because I haven't got a clue. Now I know the vertex shaders, you need them for certain graphic in-game visuals, and I was talking to one of the other iRacers and he was saying that for some reason iRacing have linked a number of the in-game visuals to the vertex shaders, so if you don't have them on, you don't see things like, I don't know, I'm just going to say damage, I don't know if it is damage, but whatever. So turning them off to try and help your system out can really reduce what you, that whole immersive feedback you get from trying to give yourself a more visual cues in a virtual environment to help get your reflexes and coordination in sync. But anyway, so yeah, this is practice ahead of the series practice session, which should be starting in about 20 minutes, and then that'll give us 90 minutes free practice to get up to speed for the 45-minute race. also need to do, just did it for the iSpeed windows, is check which windows are displaying in the stream and which windows aren't. What I end up doing as well is chasing my tail with the settings, because I can get the settings in OBS set so that when I watch the stream back, it's nice and smooth. The odd occasional frame dropped, which is fine, but I'll think, nailed it, lock those settings in. I'll then do another session right afterwards and it looks horrible. So I'll then change something, even though I know, and I try and discipline myself not to, because it may well be actually something else, like, I don't know, the Twitch server itself.
Slow one's in front of you.
Or
track.
someone else in the house downloading, or watching the cable box. And what I really need to do is get back to that sweet spot where in-game it looks and feels fine, the stream looks fine, and then just leave it. And anything that happens around that is external to my system, that's beyond my control. So I just leave it and don't try and chasing it. Oh, that was a really bad turn one. Braking was really bad. So right now, if I look on my iPad, the screen's just frozen. It's only updating once every, I don't know, 40 seconds or so. But I don't know if that's what it looks like for everybody else, so I can't even use that as a reliable reference point to make changes. So I have to wait for this, for me to finish on track, shut everything down, go to Twitch, go to my video manager and have a look. And then, if that does look stuttery, go and look at the locally recorded file to see what that looks like. Yeah, I see some of the other streamers and theirs just looks rock solid, but I'm sure they all went through trial and error exercises as well to get there. Okay, so I'm just going to stop the stream for a bit, go and have a look to see what that actually looked like for everyone else, take note of all of the settings, and then come back and do some more tweaks.